It's that time of year again. You know it best as the bloodbath, the debacle, the blood bowl, Fairview IT Cup Series. It's live. 332nd rear axles and a Champion Turbo Flexi chassis with an Eagle motor, unlimited gear ratio, ball bearings, bad to the bone fish rubber tires. These guys are bringing their A game. And I'm going to tell you, it's really going to be brutal. 3 strikes, you're out. No communities. We haven't ran this since last year at the 4 Crowns. And I'll tell you what, I sold so many bodies. I sold so many guide flags. I sold so many motors. This is a money maker for Lanes Raceway. And right now, Lanes Raceway needs your money. We are trying to move into a new Lanes Raceway, and these guys are going to help me do it with this Fairview IT Cup Series. We were just one away for next week at being the main event. We got 7 racers instead of 8. So next week, the truck series, the mini truck series will be our main event, and it will be hosted at the 3rd race at 7 o'clock p.m. next Sunday. So this week, it is Fairview IT Cup Series as our main event, sponsored by Fairview IT Management out of Owensboro, Kentucky. Give them a call for all your IT needs. You got a phone? Well, hey, let them make your phone better. They got phones. They keep track of all that, and they'll set you up on emails. They'll set you up with all your computer problems and everything else. They'll fix all that. They know everything. They speak the language of the computer, and it just so happens my brother owns the company, so if you get involved, tell them Donnie sent you. Nonetheless, racers, are we ready?
Racers ready?
Watch your lights. 3 strikes, you're out. No communities. Here we go. 4 red lights are dropping out. Let's see if anybody can survive the first lap, first corner. We already got one off into the wall here, folks. Somebody just about lost their eyeball. Jay, last week in the preliminary, fast car running this week into the wall. And I'm talking, he might have took some paint off of that, but what a start to the bloodbath. Jay Latham taking his first strike there on yellow lane. More to come. They're already looking at his car here. They're taking a look at the brand new car of Jackson Gold Dust Darty. A hammer? A camera? I know, man. I wish I had one. I've been looking at them though. But they're like, man, for a camera to do what we want to do, they're like $800-900 bucks, dude. It's wild. I can't believe cameras are that expensive. And another car, Randy Kirtley off the white lane, gets smacked right up into the high side there. So that's going to be a strike for Randy. One thing I know for sure, Randy Kirtley's car hates white lane. So he is definitely going to have to dial her back a smidgen if he wants to make it through white lane. We got a tough car here for Jay Latham. Or a strip gear or something. Ben Axel, I don't know. He's going to take a quick gander at his car and find out what it could possibly be. But for the fastest in the Fairview IT of the last week per lap, he may not have won it last week, but he was the fastest in the preliminary. Let's hope he can get that baby fixed. We got Brian Bender. He's taking a set out on this race. He's helping roll the track as he fears that this track must be super smooth for these rocket ships to go across it. The name of the game in this is, hey, can you keep your car on the track? Because if you can, you'll probably win. If you can't, you're probably going to be coming into the shop later on buying gears, tires, axles, everything. That's what we like. We like to sell parts at Lanes Raceway. Keeps us going, keeps us motivated, keeps those payouts high. Jay Latham is opting to work on his car for red lights dropping out. Here we go. Already a brutal start. As we see Randy Kirtley's car yet again going to the high side there off the white lane, his second strike. The only lane Randy Kirtley's car cannot run successfully, white lane. He almost needs to putt around it. Just to keep it on. Anybody else, Rick? Jackson? And Jay?
No, Jay now.
Okay. Robert and Jackson?
No. Randy and Jackson.
Okay. So Jackson will take his first strike. Here we go. The car high to the outside there. The teal car of Gunna Man. Trigger Man Gunna. Going to take his first strike. Right now we got 1 strike red, 2 strikes white, 2 strikes yellow, 1 strike purple. Only 15 seconds into the heat. We still have a whole lot of heat left to go. These cars are begging for mercy. The motors are overheating. Robert Bethune now taking over the lead, 16 for the last. Jackson's already right there behind him, followed by Glenn Burton in third position. Gunner right there with him on the red lane. Randy Kirtley having to dial back on that white lane just to keep his car functioning. Gerald Whitaker is doing his best PPO ride on and doing quite well. And he has 0 strikes this heat. And 8 seconds left to go in the heat. We have some pretty good racing going on here. Everybody's got their back end under control. The officers will leave the rubber on the track this series, just for this Cup Series, because they get better grip with the fish tires leaving the rubber on versus taking it off and trying to risk that. We get Gunner's car to the high outside for his second strike here. Now Gunner joining the 2-strike club of white and yellow. Pure debacle. What a start it was. It's right out the gate. .47 seconds left to go. Robert Bethune running impeccably with the neon yellow car there and orange. Now drops to third position. Glenn Burton in second. Jackson Hardy in third. Wreck to the high outside, and that's going to be 3 strikes for Randy Kirtley. He made it almost all the way on white lane. 26 seconds left to go in the heat. With a red flag or a rotation, let's take a look at the track mate. A brutal battle between these two in the previous series. Only 5 points separated them from the standings in the previous spring series. Jackson and Gold Dust Darty, Glendis Burden, these two battling it out. 73 laps, 72, first and second. Followed by Robert Bethune, newcomer to the series here, 69. He's got his notes in and he's ready to rock and roll too. Gunnar Vinder there, 63. Randy Kirtley, 45, having to set out the last 30 seconds there. And Gerald Whitaker, 42. Not a strike to be had that last heat. What an exceptional heat for Gerald. Jay Latham, of course, having that first wreck issue right out of the gate, put his car into the pits, and he is still working on it as we speak. Heading over to the strikes, we'll go ahead and clear out the strike board. But we got a whole lot more of this oval action left to come. So we'll see Robert getting his car put back on there. The excitement is real. The buzz in the air for the Fairview IT Cup Series. I can't believe it's that time again. The year, the weather, it's all so beautiful. The Fairview IT Cup Series is back. The action is real. The only difference is we usually just let the guys run it until they completely destroyed their cars into oblivion. With the new strike system, it's never going to be like the old days ever again. These guys are actually going to be able to take their cars home and actually be able to keep them in somewhat of a minor disarray, but still in decent condition. Whereas it used to be, it was run them until they broke, and we never made anybody set out. But as we progress and we mature here at Lanes Raceway, and we push for that higher mark, that holding of the 4 crowns, to wear the velvet red crown of the king with a coat of arms, we must progress. 3 strikes, you're out. 8 seconds before we go green racing. A fresh strike board. Will we see another one set out in this heat? Will we see another one go for the TV? The first to break the TV is still active here at Lanes Raceway. First to break it gets $100. We'll see what happens. 1 minute 58 seconds. Jackson Daugherty, your current leader, down on black, racing neck and neck with Glenn Burden. Both of these guys, he's dives bombs down low. Glenn Burden staying out in front of him. The 2 Earnhardts, both number 3s. Earnhardt America for Glenn Burden, and the Dark Knight himself, Earnhardt, the Intimidator, down low on black. Both of these guys running identical lap times. Both of these guys running identical medians. They're back and forth, neck and neck, side by side, neither giving an inch. You're seeing it here live, folks. Black and purple, hard hitting, never quitting, giving each other room as we see our first wreck here to the high outside. 2 blue cars involved in the crook of the track. Jay Latham, the Speedwagon himself, the rum runner from previous season, going to take a strike alongside Triggerman Gunner. See Randy Kirtley now on red lane. No worries in sight as his car does hook up on every other lane except for white. It just hates white lane. So we'll see if he'll be able to make up some of those laps and give a little bit of run for the money for Glenn and Jackson towards the end. Still a whole lot of racing left to go. Exciting to see how Robert Laffoon does as we progress through here. Gunner, his first time in a pro series here, doing impeccable. Anywhere from the top 3 to 4 as Randy Kirtley takes out one in the pack here. Looks to be Gunner and Randy taking strikes. And I say, you know, Randy could run all lanes except for white lane. Looks like he might have had a little issue there on red lane. Could be the new tires. He got a fresh new sets of meats. I ran it in the preliminary last week and I burned his tires up, so we gave him a free set of tires since he let me use his car. But he does have a faster car like the rest of the guys. Side by side, Glenn Burden, Jackson Daugherty. Neck and neck. Both these guys running each other clean. They must be twins. They must be clones. Both of them neck and neck, side by side, giving each other room as Glenn narrowly lets him get off, now giving him the chase. On the blue lane, Gerald Whitaker there trying to stay in the mix, hanging in there with his white car. We see Jay Latham's car stall to a stop there in the high banks portion of the track. Going to try to figure out what's going on there as he receives his second strike.
What is it? What's this? I just soldered it back
So his
on.
gear ended up coming loose, a worm screw or something. As Randy takes a look at his competition's car, the number 3 American 4th of July Earnhardt car, him and Jackson driving like they're teammates on the NASCAR circuit, giving each other a little wind, giving each other a little draft, as you call it, holding down the lower lanes here, turning an impressive 65 laps. It's like they're in a different league of their own here compared to everybody else. The closest to them is a 57 lapper of Robert LaFoon up on white. Everybody else, they're in no man's land compared to Jackson and Glenn. They're holding it down and showing true to the Earnhardt name. All right, 20 seconds left to go. Jay Latham's back in the mix. He got his gear ready, tightened up. 2 strikes Jay, 2 strikes Gunner, 1 strike Randy. Didn't want to say anything. The flow state was real there, folks, there towards the end. What an incredible heat for Jackson and Glenn, turning an impressive 79 laps. Wow. Both of these guys back and forth, hitting it hard. 152 for Jackson, 151 for Glenn. Neither one of these guys shredding an inch to each other. The competition is real between these two. It always has been. Robert LaFoon there, newcomer in the Fairview IT Cup Series, holding his own, 137 as he's running the high lanes. He's going to start dipping down into them low lanes. But he's showing pretty progressive numbers here with 69 total laps on orange. As he breaks over to the blue lane, he'll be getting into that 70 range. Gunner Bender actually holding his own too, 65 on green, just a couple laps down from Robert LaFoon. Randy Kirtley suffering a horrible loss there on white lane with 45 laps, but making up for it on red lane with 65. Holding down 65 laps is pretty good. 65 to 67 laps is what you can expect. Gerald Whitaker there, 42 laps on green, but man, makes up for it on blue lane with 55 laps. Jay Latham, 65 laps on orange, 4 laps down from the previous best, but we'll see how Jay fares as we continue on in the debacle that is known as Fairview IT Cup Series. Minute and 30 seconds, we'll be right back with you.
Race starts in 40 seconds. Race starts in 20 seconds. Race starts in 5 seconds.
5 seconds and we'll be back in the mix, folks. 5 seconds, we'll see those lights. And those 4 red lights are going to drop out to a green and we're going back racing. Right out of the gate, Jackson Darty. Oh, as Randy Kirtley shunts to the high side on green. Having trouble with that car. Randy Kirtley going to take his first strike there. Jackson already in the lead, 155. Glenn Burden, 154. Both these guys running about the same median, neck and neck, side by side on each other's kilts. Randy Kirtley popping off again on green lane, taking out several with him. White. There's just a lot. I might have to wait till they get on the starting line to see how many got taken out. He's going to want to take a look at the track after that wreck. So a strike for black. Strike for white and a strike for blue. Brian Bender going to roll the track real quick. Be right back with you. All right, 4 red lights dropping out to a green. Randy Kirtley, 2 strikes already. He's got a long way to go. He's going to have to figure something out here. He'll be setting out. Your leader, Jackson's already there on yellows. He goes to make a pass, try to, on purple, but he's biding his time here. And he makes the pass as the car comes dive bombing down low on black. That's Glenn Burden. Glenn Burden, the speed wagon himself, down on black as he sends purple to the outside wall and flips several times over here by Venom. Gerald's going to take a strike there. Glenn now checking the track there. What y'all looking for? Robert LaFoon's bobby can flying out of his car. So right now, as it stands, Jay Latham 1 strike on white, Randy 2 strikes on green, 1 strike Gunner on blue, 1 strike purple Gerald, 1 strike Glenn Burden black. They're trying to get the bobby pins back into Robert's car here. All right, Glenn Burden's back with Robert LaFoon's neon yellow car, and he said it wasn't bent, so Like I said, we still got quite a bit of racing left to go. Randy Kirtley having to opt to not go full throttle on green as it's wanting to come out. 1 minute and 19 seconds left to go in the heat, but Jackson Daugherty still holding it down by 1 lap on yellow. But right behind him is Glenn Burden. As we see a car go to the high outside, Robert LaFoon loses a body, and we see a car off of white getting smoked out too. And I believe that's Randy's third strike. He's going to be setting out the rest of the heat. Robert LaFoon going to take his first strike here. And Jay Latham going to take his second. Hard hits, folks. Hard hits and a lot of stuff flying. That is the name of the game, the Fairview IT Cup Series. Oh, do not come race this if you are faint of heart. Because at any moment, you could be taking one of these cars right to the chest or the chin. But only the strong win. So Randy Kirtley has a little over a minute or so to work on his car to figure out what is wrong with it and why it keeps popping off. Everybody else is trying to piece their cars back together. Glenn Burden jumping in the mix to help out Jay and Brian Bender. Jackson Daugherty over here in the booth with me as we kind of kindly wait to see what's going on. Jackson, the race so far, it seems like your new car, the Earnhardt car, not doing too bad. You and Glenn Burden looks to be running pretty clean with each other as a state so far. What would you have to say about that? What do you think about whenever Guillermo shows back up? Y'all think y'all are going to be able to hang it out with the Oval King himself, Guillermo Sire? But you're doing pretty good right now. Keep that number 3 car on the track and do not wreck. That's the key. For those that don't know, Jackson is our kid for the year that we work with to try to help him out in his slot car career. Our first one was Tom Pate, and of course Jackson is our second. We've only been open for 2 years, and we've been keeping the eyes peeled for our third kid. Haven't yet decided who our third kid's going to be, but nonetheless, we got our eyes peeled. We're looking, and next year, of course, after the 4 Crowns, we'll take them under our wing and see what we can do about helping them out in their slot car career. Now, of course, what that comes and what that entails is basically they have a problem with their car and they can't fix it. They can bring it to me and I fix it for them for free. And then, of course, we help them out with other stuff too, like strategy and everything else. And I'll actually help them look at their cars and get them set up for the tracks and everything. So it's been a long year for Jackson. He's pulled off the Prince of Lanes Raceway whenever he was a rookie, and he was able to bring that home. I think he got a controller and some other stuff for that. But he has yet to win a Pro Series. Hopefully we can get that done before the 4 Crowns. We got this series and one more before that happens. And it'd be real nice if he ended up bringing home the King of Lanes Raceway, but he's going to have to fight for that with Jay Latham, Randy Kirtley, Glenn Burden for sure. Of course, Randy Kirtley and Glenn Burden, both lords of Lanes Raceway. Randy Kirtley taking home the Red Crown last year, which was the Group F Wing Car Series, and Glenn Burden was the Purple Crown Lord. Took home the IndyCar Series crown last year, 4 Crowns. And these are big, big things here at Lanes Raceway. If you get a crown at Lanes Raceway, you are impeccable driver. All right, 4 red lights dropping out to green. Here we go. Red, 1 strike. White, 2 strikes. Green out. Orange, no strikes. Blue, 1 strike. Yellow, no strikes. Purple, 1 strike. Black, 1 strike. Jackson Darty in that number 3. Glenn Burden in that number 3. The same old story, neck and neck, side by side. Neither one of them giving an inch. Glenn Burden is showing how it's done on Black Lane, actually gaining about a car length and a half. Now getting slow to up there. Jackson from Purple Lane. He makes a pass, and we get a wreck to the outside. Can't see who's involved in it. Purple and red. Purple has 2 strikes. Red has 2 strikes. 2. As it states right now, Robert 2 strikes. Jay 2 strikes. Randy out. Orange lane, no strikes. Blue lane, 1 strike. Yellow lane, no strikes. Purple lane, 2 strikes. Black lane, 1 strike. Everybody knows things can change at a moment's notice. You really got to be self-aware here, almost blur the eyes so that you can run this race. Because if you don't, you can get sick really quick, hyper-focusing on all these cars. But nonetheless, these guys have the mental acuity to do so. As we see a car go to the high outside there, that's going to be Gerald. Just narrowly coming off there. Gerald Whitaker, that's going to be his 3rd strike. 3. So he'll be setting out for the next 19 seconds, but to be honest, I'm very impressed with Gerald coming over from the drag racing scene, hitting up on the oval track. You don't see Gerald wreck very often, and let me just put it in perspective, folks. That's his first body on the Fairview IT Cup car, and it doesn't have hardly any wrinkles or cuts in it whatsoever, and he's probably been in 4 or 5 Fairview IT Cup races since he's had that car. So if anything, he's about ready for a new motor. That's a 00 rotation there. We're going to see the standings here currently. Glenn Burden now taking over the lead, 229 total laps, 76.3. Jackson Darty right there behind him with 228, 76 on average. Robert Laffoon still holding down that 3rd position, 202, 67.3, even after having his body completely blown off. Gunnar Bender there, 199. He's in the mix too. Gerald Whitaker coming up from the bottom now, holding 144 total laps, 10 laps ahead of Randy Kirtley, and Jay Latham with 132, about 12 laps ahead of Jay Latham. Heading over to the strikes, we'll go ahead and clear those out. Act like that heat never happened. We're going to move on into the next round robin, which will be round robin 4 of 8 coming up next. Watch these guys work. We'll be right back with you.
seconds. Race starts in 5 seconds. Get ready.
All right, here we go. 4 red lights dropping out to a green, folks. The excitement's in the air. I'll tell you what, it's been a good race so far. Nice, clean race. All things considered, when we're talking about Fairview IT Cup Series racing, here we are already halfway there, and it's only 7:42, folks. You guys have been here from the past, some of our early races from the very beginning. You guys know that the Fairview IT Cup Series race, we've been here before at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and still had a couple heats left to row. So if it goes to show you anything, these guys have gotten a whole lot better driving these cars. Plus, we've gotten a whole lot better technology when it comes to tires and stuff like that. The new Mid-America carbon hub tires, man, I'll tell you, as all-around tire goes, they may not be the best tire on earth for a specific need, but for an all-around tire, man, you can't really beat those carbon hub tires. Some carbon hub tires are some of the best tires I've ever put on a car. Purple Lane, gonna take a strike. They're first. Hey T, go get me a set of those Mid-America 550 hub tires. We'll show them on the live stream. It doesn't matter what size, just the 550 hubs. I'll show you what these guys are running here, folks. I'll go to this chat menu here. You still see what's going on in the race. Glenn Burden right now, you're the leader by a couple laps here. As Jackson moves to the high side there, he's just got to keep focused. I've been telling Jackson, you know, don't wreck. That's the main thing. Don't wreck. Oops, sorry. No, not these. The 550 hub, the 332nd. Don't get me wrong, those are good tires too. Those are the hefty duty hubs from Mid-America, the small tires that we run in the truck series here at Lanes Raceway. I don't know if you guys have seen on Mid-America. I know I keep saying a lot about Mid-America here, but you know, that's what we usually run here a lot of the times. And, you know, a lot of their stuff is pretty good for the money. They got a new sprint car out, limited supply run on their website right now. Yeah, these will be fine. But they're cool. Smell these tires, they smell like fish. All right, so we got a wreck here. Well, let me get a little zoom in here and see if that'll focus in. So that's going to be a strike on Black Lane real quick. Give me 1 second. They're first. All right, folks, I'm going to head back to the me here. And you can kind of see, I don't know if I can get that to focus, but that's a carbon hub. Hard to get it to focus with this, but good fish rubber tires, 332nd axle. That's what the guys use. And I'll tell you what, they grip. They grip pretty good. Big difference from when we first started. So Jay and Jackson both looking at his car as we see Glenn Burden going to take a strike there on yellow, his first. I think that's actually his first wreck. But both of the Earnhardt boys here today are doing good. Now these are, of course, 790 fish rubbers, 550 hub, 332nd from Mid-America. I can't say enough good things about them. They're really, really good. He glues them good. And it, you know, that's something I've noticed here in the past couple of years of getting slot car tires. We used to do JK tires, which I like, and they're still good. They're a little more expensive. But besides JK tires, you know, kind of limited to Kofor tires. And Kofor, man, to be honest, have really skimped when it comes to gluing their tires around the hub. And I'm not a big fan of that. They'll use the yellow glue too, which I don't think holds as good as the black does. Glenn Burden out in the lead. Total laps 306, 76.5 on average. Jackson Darty 303, 75.8 on average. Gunnar Bender, he's back in that hometown field, that third position, holding down a podium. 273, 68.2 on average. Robert LaFoon now dropped back to fourth position by 2 laps, 67.8. So he's still in the mix, and he's ran all his top lanes. So now Robert's going to really start hammering and increasing that average. It's going to be exciting to see where Robert finishes tonight, being this is his first time in the Fairview IT Cup Series. And he's also ran in the Truck Series earlier today for points, and he did quite well. So see how he does here in this series. Gerald Whitaker, 210. He is starting to get even more laps than the previous time that he raced the Fairview IT preliminaries. Randy Kirtley having some horrible luck alongside Jay Latham. Last week, Jay Latham, of course, having an impeccable car. This week, him and Randy both having some troubles with their cars. It could be the humidity in the air. It could be quite a few things. But nonetheless, I'm going to clear the strikes in about 1 minute 30 seconds. We'll be right back with you.
The race starts in 1 minute. Race starts in 40 seconds. Race starts in 20 seconds. Race starts in 5 seconds.
5 seconds, we're about to go green racing.
Get ready.
And Jackson's afraid of Jay. Glenn Burden saying his car's slowing down. He about got me there for a second because I was talking to Jackson, but I was like, man, your car ain't slowing down. He's first position right now, best lap 1.633 already turned there on the orange lane, which is an upper lane. So Glenn Burden in the Intimidator 3 4th of July edition, looking good. Jackson Darty, same condition here. He's in the black Intimidator up on white. Neck and neck, side by side as green lane shoves Jackson to the wall. He was in a rough position there. Probably shouldn't have run side by side by a man that said he was going to put him in the wall. But hey, bad decision for Jackson as he takes his first strike here on the white lane. Robert, you didn't wreck, did you? No. Okay.
Get ready.
One thing I told Jackson before he started, said don't wreck. And here we are. That was a pretty hard wreck too as he crushed it down there on Lane's Raceway. Hopefully he'll continue to listen to me and stay out of trouble, as that cost him a couple laps there. Just that one incident cost him 2 laps. So he really needs to kind of focus in a little bit. As he comes up on green of Jay Latham, probably be best after seeing that. If he can't make a pass anywhere else, he definitely doesn't need to make it in Dead Man's Corner. He risks it for the biscuit, and it looks like he makes it through as we see a car fly to the high outside, and that's Jay Latham this time. Maybe Karma paying it a visit. As we see strike for strike here, Jay Latham and Jackson Darty. Minute and 2 seconds halfway through the heat here, and this race is just flying by. One of the more exciting races of the year for sure, and I look forward to it every year. Fairview IT Cup Series. Don't forget, Fairview IT Cup Series, they sponsor here at Lane's Raceway. They sponsor us every year at the Four Crowns, and I'm going to tell you guys, if you got computer problems, you give these guys a call. Fairview IT Management out of Owensboro, Kentucky. White lane and blue lane both receiving strikes. That's 2 for Jackson, 1 for Robert. And I'm not just saying that because the owner of Fairview IT Management is my brother. I'm saying that because my brother is very, very intelligent. And hands down, I've never seen a computer problem that man couldn't fix. I think he's got so many people that, you know, he's actually trying to dial down a little bit on Fairview IT. That's how good he is, folks. So a strike there on purple too for Randy Kirtley, and looks like might be a strike for Gerald Whitaker too. These are a little bit latecomers for the strikes. So we got a full path of cars here at the start-finish line. But yeah, I mean, man, there'd be some issues I have on my computer that, you know, make it laggy or whatever from my video games. Brother will remote in, and within 10 minutes, I'll be getting like 500 frames a second. No lag, no stutter, nothing. So my brother knows his stuff, and it's not just video games, man. He can make a computer come back to life. Now, even though he does own it, and he's not really hands-on, he's got people that are hands-on and go and do that. All of the guys that work there are under a guy's name, Ryan, and that was a hard wreck there. Randy Kirtley going bouncing off of the high banks there. But a guy named Ryan works there, and he is very intelligent too. He's been with my brother pretty close since the beginning. So that's going to be another strike for Robert LaFoon on blue. Another strike for Randy Kirtley there on purple. White got a strike too. That's 3 for White. And that's it. All right, going back racing. So Jackson Darty wrecked out. 3 strikes, you're out. That's just the name of the game. But one good news for Jackson, at least it was on white lane. That's a rough lane for everybody, it seems, on the Fairview Cup. And only 17 seconds left to go in that heat. So he's not going to lose a lot, but it is going to make Gunner a whole lot closer to him than he would like. And Glenn Burden, he's out on no man's land now. Glenn Burden's got the wagon of dragon out there. 380 total laps, 76 on average. Jackson Darty 358, 71.6, taking a punishing average there. Gunner Bender there 351, 70.2, actually increasing his average. And Robert LaFoon 341 to round up your top 4. Randy Kirtley there 282, having some hard goes about it early on white lane and green lane. Gerald Whitaker also having a good night tonight, actually running better than he has in any of the Fairview IT Cup Series. He just keeps progressively getting faster and faster. The last time we raced, we seen him in the upper 50s. Now we're seeing him actually on Black Lane in the upper 60s, which is incredible to see. So he is starting to learn that car and learn the trigger points for sure. And he is one position above Jay Latham. Jay Latham 268, run his top lanes, but only 1 lap turned on yellow. Really killed Jay Latham. Heading over to the strikes, we better clear those out before next heat. Get her on the oval, we see Brian Bender cooling off Gunner Bender's car there on the air conditioning. Minute and 30 seconds, we'll be right back with you.
Starts in 1 minute. Race starts in 40 seconds. Starts in 20 seconds.
All right, here we go. 4 red lights are dropping out to a green. Here we go. Glenn Burden, your leader. He's been stone cold all evening long in the 4th of July Mobile, making Dale Earnhardt proud. He's down on white lane. He's actually catching Jackson. Jackson lifting, letting him go by. A smart choice on Jackson there. As Jackson's main thing, he has got to not wreck. So we see Robert LaFoon, somebody that is got a really good opportunity to dethrone Jackson. He takes his first strike here. Robert right now currently in 4th position. Gunnar Bender now, he's on his way up off the yellow lanes here. So Gunnar really needs to pull in some good laps here on yellow while he still can. Robert LaFoon taking a second strike. This is not good news for Robert, but a little bit of good news for Jackson as he takes his second strike there off of purple lane.
Get ready.
More heats left to go. Randy Kirtley currently on black lane, turning an impressive 1.482 is his best lap, the fastest we've seen all night long. And that is 3 strikes for Robert LaFoon. Very, very upsetting thing to take place here, as that will now put Randy Kirtley in contention to take over 4th position. Robert definitely a front runner here before taking those 3 strikes off purple lane, but it is hard to get the rhythm down for purple and black when you just started running this smaller oval here at Lanes Raceway, because normally people don't run these fast cars on such a small oval, but we do because we're a little crazy. 50 seconds left to go in the heat. Glenn Burden's still holding it down and is actually hunting, folks. We hear a hard hit to the outside wall. That is going to be Gerald taking his strike there, his first one on orange lane. It was a thumper. 4 red lights dropping out to green. Gunnar Bender actually getting those laps that are much needed here. Currently turning median at 1.61, which is a 10th better than Jackson and Glenn. So we're knowing he's actually gaining laps, about 4 laps up on Glenn and Jackson. So Jackson within 3 laps to Gunnar. Gunnar is going to push it for the next 27 seconds. We might see a change of position here for Gunnar going to 2nd position. Now 1 lap separates the 2. 4 seconds left to go in the heat. Close one, folks. 1 lap separating these 2. As we go to a heat over, we can see Glenn Burden still holding it down several laps up on the lead here. Probably not going to have anybody to mess with him, to be honest. 452 total laps, averaging 75.3. Jackson Daugherty there in 2nd place, just barely, with 428 after that huge set out he had to take on white lane. In 3rd position, Gunnar Bender, though, making up some big time there, tying Jackson Daugherty on yellow with 76 total laps, 71.2 on average, just 1 lap down from Jackson. Robert LaFoon taking a huge hit there on purple, only turning 24 laps, currently at 365, but he still has low lanes left to go. Him and Randy Kirtley there, just within a couple of laps of each other. So it's still up in the air. Randy Kirtley, of course, having some issues with this car alongside Jay Latham tonight. Gerald Whitaker, though, I'll tell you what, man, he has been putting in the time, putting in more laps here, turning 66 laps there on black. Suffered a little bit on purple and green, but everywhere else is about his average, currently speaking. But he just keeps getting better and better as the weeks go, and he gets to refine his rhythm. Heading over to the oval. Actually heading over to the strikes to clear them, and then heading over to the oval. And we can watch these guys work. I'll be right back with you in a minute and 30 seconds.
minute.
Right.
Race starts in 40 seconds. Race starts in 20 seconds. Race starts in 5 seconds. Get ready.
All right, 4 red lights dropping out to green. Round robin, 7 of 8. Jackson already hanging on by 1 lap to Gunnar Vender. Both of these guys neck and neck. Lynn Burden, he's out no man's land in the lead. All he's doing is just biding his time. Something's going on here. Who hit the button? He lose a braid. So Gunnar going to take a strike here for hitting the button. Is his braid too low? No, it's fine. Look at it. Might be getting below motor here soon. Could be tucking body in the back too. Could be tucking a body in the back. I didn't look at that. That looks fine now. Lynn Burden start humming there on red lane, folks. The old Intimidator's back in action. It's a brand new body got here at Lanes Raceway, custom made from JPG. We get them from Mid-America. The hard hit there is Lynn gets collected. So Jackson and Glenn getting strikes.
Get ready.
Both Jackson and Glenn there side by side. Glenn probably has just a little bit of the faster car there, as it looks like Jackson sent Gerald to the wall. Gerald taking his first strike here. Four strikes given out so far. Red, white, green, and orange all have 1 strike. Everybody else has a none. Nice clean pass there by Jackson there on Gerald. This time he does definitely need to try to keep one eye ahead so he doesn't call hard hits like that. Coming from his coach. 40 seconds left to go. Glenn Burden's holding it down, folks. We get a flag here. Randy Kirtley decided he wanted to take a ride on red. Randy Kirtley missing being in the lead. He thought he'd just jump on there with Glenn Burton real quick, see how it felt. As he takes his first strike there on yellow lane. 4 red lights are dropping out to green. Here we go. And, well, would you look at this, folks? This car decided he just wants to set on Jackson. Both these threes just want to hang out with each other. And then we got white lane there of Gerald all up in the mix. Glenn Burton going to take his second strike there, but a pretty cool little wreck nonetheless. Glenn Burton 20 or so laps ahead of everybody else. Unless Glenn wrecks out, nobody has a chance. Oh, and a hard hit to the outside high wall there. It's going to involve Randy Cotton Candy Kirtley and Robert LaFoon. Randy's second, Robert's first. Uh-oh, we got a disconnection here, folks. 1 second. 14 seconds left to go in the heat. So far, a pretty good race here. Not so much of a debacle as it is just a nail-biter, really, tonight. The 3-strike system, man, really does put these faster cars in line a little bit. Makes the punishment a whole lot severer. And I see these guys actually giving each other room like they should have from the beginning. And it makes for some good racing. Down low, Robert LaFoon making some good laps there on black. As we see 2 cars involved in an incident here. One of them is our current leader. He's going to take a 2-second set out. And green lane is going to take his second strike. Why did you? That was Green's only. That was only Green's second strike. Yeah. If you didn't know, come talk to me. I got the strikes over here. It's all right. It was only 2 seconds. Jackson can get over it. He shouldn't be wrecking anyway. Glenn Burton out in the lead. 517 total laps. 73.9 on average. Gunnar Bender now taking over second position, 498 total laps, 71.7 on average. He just keeps increasing that average. He don't care if he's going high or not. He's going to increase that average. Jackson Daugherty dropping his average by a little bit, 70.9, as he's got blue lane left to row to try to take back that second position. Randy Kirtley now currently in fourth position, 439, tied up with Robert LaFoon, 62.7 on average for both of these guys. Both of them fought hard there. Had it within a couple laps of each other. Randy Kirtley, of course, having a couple wrecks there. Robert, 1 wreck, I believe, last one. Jay Latham there, 419. He's hanging in there, folks. He's 20 down from Robert and Randy. And Gerald Whitaker, 381. Just increasing his laps, total laps. So, altogether, a good race so far tonight as we go to clear out these strikes yet again. Head over to the oval. We'll see you in a minute and 30 seconds.
Starts in 1 minute. Race starts in 40 seconds.
All right, here we go, folks. 4 red lights dropping out to green. Rock and roll. The Earnhardt clan's been strong today, but it's going to be a battle between Gunner and Jackson this heat. Jackson, if he runs his heat, he is on the fastest lane currently. He is 20 laps down from Glenn, so nothing shy of Glenn setting out this heat is anybody going to catch him. But Gunner and Jackson, they are definitely within shooting range of one another, and it's just going to require some constant aggression while not making any passes on the outside. Passes on the outside will get you hurt, especially if nobody lifts for you. As we've seen at the end of Dead Man's Corner, every time somebody gets smacked up against that wall, that's the hard pop noise you hear, and that's what Benzel, as we see Gerald's car popping out on orange lane and going to the high outside there. So Gerald's going to take himself a strike here for red lane. His first. A minute and 11 seconds left to go in this race, and it is bowling down to a nail biter for sure. Robert Laffoon and Randy Kirtley both within 1 lap of each other also. So we got a 1-lap battle Gunner Jackson, a 1-lap battle Randy Roberts. So we'll see how things shape up as we see Jackson now taking over second position. Nothing shy of Jackson wrecking out from this point forward. Will Gunner be able to grab? Randy Kirtley at 481 to Roberts 480. Roberts got to pick up the pace there on yellow lane, but should be able to catch Randy. If all things considered, he's just going to have to drive a little bit deeper and push out a little bit harder and rely on them tires to grip him through. 34 seconds left to go. Glenn Burden, what an impeccable race he's had here tonight. Only wrecking out with 2 seconds left in the previous heat there in round robin 7 of 8. Couldn't ask for much more better of a race than that. A lot of people setting out this whole race. I think everybody set out at least once, if I'm not mistaken. But 14 seconds left to go. 20 laps ahead of second position there for Jackson Daugherty, and Gunnar Bender there in third position. Just 3 laps down from Jackson. But these guys have showed me some true heart here tonight in the Fairview IT Cup Series that we usually call the Bloodbath. We usually call the destructive bow, the debacle that it is. But tonight, these guys fought valiantly, gave each other room when room was needed, even went side by side several times, and both of them coming out unscathed. Black lane and white lane taking strikes. 1 second left to go. We got a pitcher to take. 3 more races left to go for these guys, and 7 more races total if they want to do makeup races. Glenn Burton's going to bring it home. 590 laps right there, 10 laps from breaking 600. Jackson Daugherty there running a good race with 569 total laps. Gunnar Bender also an impeccable race, 566 laps to round up your top 3. Randy Kirtley having some troubles early on, was able to bring it all the way back to 4th position. Robert Laffoon, first time out running this, running a 5th position there, and he was right there neck and neck with Cotton Candy Randy himself. Jay Latham there, 494 total laps, having a real rough time on yellow lane, but other than that, everything looks really good for Jay. He'll come back next week and have probably a really good time running hard. Gerald Whitaker, he's increased his laps yet again here from the preliminaries. He is at 439. That is over a 50 lap gain from the previous time that he had raced this. So all the way around, nothing but good things to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was our first running of the Fairview IT Cup Series here at Lanes Raceway for the going on 3rd year here, you know, so pretty cool to see. The Fairview's back in the mix again. It was our first series when we first opened up, and then it was a series into the 4 Crowns the 2nd year, and now here it is coming into our 3rd year. And man, what a beginning it's been. Oh, here we are, the winner himself here. Represent 4th of July colors and all, Coca-Cola number 3. This is your winner, and not a bad dresser, I must say. Glenn Burden in that Hawaiian shirt looking fresh. A Coke and a smile, he says. But what a race Glenn had tonight. The threes were on fire tonight. Glenn and Jackson both. Robert LaFoon behind me. What a race he had. Good racing, good fun. Come on down here and join us. There's plenty of time to get in this series. You still got another 4 weeks that you can get in any of these series. Come on down, have fun with us. You'll enjoy it. These guys are racing for 500 first and a big check. But anyways, God bless you. Thank you guys. Stay tuned. You know, we're working on the roof down there for the next 3 days. We're going to be down there hard hitting it, trying to get the other raceway up and going. Maybe cut some of this heat, you know, that we've been having here too. We've got a double unit down there, so we should be able to hang meat down there when we get it open. But bear with us. We'll get a video out here shortly once we get the roof finished up, and hopefully it'll hold water and not let it leak. If that's the case, then we'll be moving right on in and get some TV mounts and stuff like that up. But just a small update for you, for those that were wondering and it's made it this far into the video. But first week down in the summer series. Come back next week, next Sunday, same time, same place. God bless you. Thank you. This is Donnie. I'll see you next week.